Hey, welcome to Unit 4 and Project 1. I'm going to give you a quick overview on how to use the low poly pack here. Now, for Project 1, as I mentioned in the intro, you can use any of these other kits that we've learned so far, but I find some students want to be really creative with their first project and they want to do something else. And so here's so I provide this low poly pack. Which is a whole bunch of assets that you can use and just import in your game easily. Um, so let's look at a Unity game. So assume you've downloaded them from Brightspace. In Unity, you want to import the assets. So just go to Asset, Import Package, Custom Package. Come on, get there. And then you'd pick the Polyworks full package thing that you've downloaded and imported. I've already imported it, so I won't import it again. When you import it, it'll bring up another window asking you which of the assets you want to import. All the assets or just select ones. You can just import them all. And then import them. And then what you'll see here is that it'll add in your, so I've got an empty game. I started with an empty game folder here with the empty scene, and it added this folder to this game here, this XEworks folder, and inside that is all the different assets that we just imported. If you want to just look at some things, a good place to start is the demos. There are a bunch of sample scenes here, so let's just look at the a couple of these scenes. So let's look at a jungle scene, for example. Here's a jungle scene. Here's an island scene. Here's a ruins scene. So they have these different assets that are available. And you can build these scenes with them. Now you can start with one of these sample scenes and build it from there, or you can start, I'm going to actually start with, go back to the sample scene here. Let's go back to scenes and sample scenes. This is empty scene. I'm just going to work with this. And I'm going to just start with a floor object. So I'm going to create a cube and put it down, and then I'm just going to resize that, making it long and flat here. And I think I'm just going to add a simple color to that. So I'm just going to add, create a simple material, and then on that material, I'm just going to do, oops, my color windows here, some green of some sort, and name that material. Okay, so I created this material and renamed it to material green. I'm just going to put it on my floor here, and I'm also going to rename this as my floor. Okay, now let's use some of our assets that we've actually wanted to use here. I'm going to go into this XEworks folder under Polyworld. There are different versions of these ones. You should be using the prefabs, not the meshes. You should use the prefabs here to do this work. So under prefabs, there are different versions, standard and tune, that sort of stuff. I'm just going to go into standard. Again, they tend to be duplicated at just a slightly different look and feel with the different types. I'm just going to go to standard, and let's just add some trees. So I'm going to go to vegetation. And there looks like there's some cactuses here that we can have. So I'm going to add some cactuses to my scene. So I'm just going to grab them. So again, I'm in the prefab folder and I'm dragging the prefabs in. And again, if I want, I can resize these when I bring them in if I want. So, and again, then you could switch to something else. For example, if I want some rocks, I could go to rocks and add some different rocks and resize those if I wanted, and add some different rocks. Now I can embed those slightly into the ground or something like that, things like that. So again, I can play with these different objects and add them to my scenes for it. Now these are you can also use these for like collectibles. So let's say if I want to go to fruits and I want to use some of these fruits, I didn't want to do that. I'm going to go back to my scene. Sometimes if you double click on a prefab, it opens it up in a special window, is a prefab preview window for that. And if you just hit that back arrow here, so here's a prefab preview and there's a little back arrow here, I can hit that. That'll return to my scene. And then I can drag one of these onto my scenes. And again, make this maybe a little bigger. Okay, so all these prefabs are made up of a mesh. That's the object, and a mesh renderer draws that. They have a simple animator here, but it's not generally doing anything. And they have a mesh collider so that you can, if you bump into it, it should generate a collision for you. So that's the basic layout of these things. And again, you're free to use any of these in your games that you want.